What I'm going to show you is how to cut your basil in a way that you will double your harvest every time.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Art of Creation Homestead. We are outside, but we're going to go back inside here in a minute. But we've got some beautiful basil out here.
Looks awesome, beautiful basil. Such a full bed of it, and it smells wonderful, and I bet it tastes good.
But obviously, before we get to eat it, we have to harvest it, prepare it, do all those other things. I'm not the food preparer. I can cook, but I'm not the better one at it. Angela Kay is, and she's also the one who takes care of the basil. So I'm going to turn this over to her, okay?
What I'm going to show you is how to cut your basil in a way that you will double your harvest every time. See, look at this beautiful basil. Look at those big leaves.
It's awesome.
Now, if you look down toward the bottom, you'll see here in the basil armpits. See, there's one leaf, there's another leaf. And see, there's two leaf sets on either side that is coming out of these branches to create new branches. So if you cut this right here like this, then those two are going to replace this one, and you're going to double your harvest. Every time you do that, you're going to double your harvest.
It also promotes a healthy plant and keeps it from going to seed very quickly.
Yes,
correct?
It keeps it from blooming.
Yes.
And if you just keep doing that, then you're going to have healthy basil all year long and double your harvest. Literally every time you cut your basil, your harvest is going to be doubled.
Yep.
Which is great if you want to dry some basil for future use, for use in the winter.
Which we have a dehydrator this year. So, possibly.
Yes. We're just going to keep cutting this basil, and then I'll show you what delicious stuff we're going to do with it. Now we are going to use that beautiful basil to make a creamy basil pesto pasta. So in this food processor, we have it's about a cup and a half of firmly packed basil, because when you measure basil in a cup, you need to pack it in.
You washed the basil when you brought it
I
in.
washed it and dried it really well. And we have 2 cloves of garlic. Let me give you a little hint about the garlic. First off, if you get garlic that is starting to sprout this time of year, it often is, and it has the little green things inside of it, pull those out. Those are very harsh, so pull those out. And also, if you have a little problem with the harshness of raw garlic, just pop it in the microwave for about 10 seconds, and it makes it release that chemical compound that makes it so harsh. And you want to cut those cloves of garlic, that's 2 cloves of garlic, you want to cut them in smaller pieces. That way the food processor can take it down better. Now, to this, I am adding about 1/4 of a cup of any kind of nuts that you have in the house. I have almonds today, so that's what we're using. I have used pecans in pesto, I have used walnuts, if you have a nut allergy, use sunflower seeds. I've done that before. It turns out wonderful.
But she's not allergic to nuts because she married me.
Now we're going to add some salt so it works as an abrasive to help break everything up. And also it needs a little salt. Now, we're going to give it a few pulses to start breaking everything up and start making a little bit of a paste. Now, we have a nice paste going on.
That's nice. It smells good. It looks good, honestly, just the way it is. But obviously, it's not finished.
No.
It smells really good, though.
It smells really good.
It smells good.
I used Genovese basil for this. I have grown so many different types of basil in the time we've been growing food, but I think Genovese so far has been my favorite.
It's the classic basil, right?
Actually, large leaf Italian is probably the classic one. Genovese is a little more pungent than large leaf Italian. That's why I like Genovese, but Genovese is probably my favorite for pesto, especially. Now, at this point, you're going to put the lid back on, and you're going to take the cover to the feeder tube out. because you are going to start drizzling. You're going to turn on your food processor and you're going to start drizzling in olive oil slowly. It will probably take about between a half a cup and 3/4 of a cup. Sometimes more, sometimes less. It depends on how much basil you have and just basically how juicy the basil is.
It may even vary by what nut you use.
Yes, it depends on how dry the nuts are that you use, because like almonds are less fatty, so it's probably going to take a little more olive oil with this, where pecans or something like that is a little more fatty, so it doesn't take as much. But I do highly recommend to use extra virgin olive oil. The better the olive oil, the better the flavor you're going to get. That smells so incredible. But we have been known to enjoy some pesto around here.
Wow. Yeah. We do like Italian food, just in general.
Yes, we do. Now, we are going to, at this point, I don't know if we'll need any more olive oil at this point or not. We'll see once we add the next component. We are going to add about 1/4 of a cup, or a little more, of Parmesan cheese. It's always a little more with me. And we're gonna add another little pinch of salt. But be careful with that because your Parmesan cheese is very salty. And we're gonna add a few grinds of fresh cracked pepper. See, that Parmesan cheese completely changes it.
Thickens it up a little bit.
It thickens it. It completely changes the whole texture of it. I think we need just a little bit more cheese and a little bit more salt and maybe a splash more olive oil. And it's okay to just drizzle in that little bit right here without it running because it's already nice and emulsified. So now I'm gonna give it one last spin and then I'll show you what we're gonna do to make this pasta creamy pesto pasta. Okay, now I have some penne pasta here. You can use whatever cut of pasta you like. We just like penne with this because the sauce will go into the little tube. So now to this pasta, we are going to add a little bit, about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of heavy cream. This is just gonna creamy it up just a little bit. And we're gonna add just a little bit more Parmesan cheese. Now this can be served cold, room temperature, whatever. This is just a couple of tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. This is good no matter how you do it. That's why it's good for a hot day like today. It's a great meal for a hot day because it doesn't have to be served hot.
And you're not heating up the house by using the oven for a lot.
Yep. And you're using up what's growing.
Yeah. Simple.
Now, you always want to pull out a cup of your hot pasta cooking liquid because it's a nice starchy liquid. You usually do need it with pesto. I don't know if I will need it with adding the cream. I don't know if I will need it this time, but we will see. Now I'm gonna throw in my pesto. And this pesto is absolutely beautiful.
It is. It's really nice.
It turned out beautiful this time.
Good color. Really
Yes.
green. Really green.
It's actually very flavorful as well, but not overpowering. Because some pesto, if it's done wrong, can be a little on the overpowering side. This doesn't seem like it's going to be overpowering at all.
And you're right, that just creamed it up a little bit, didn't it? I can
Yep.
see it coming together.
Yep, it just creamed it up just a little bit. And I can tell that it's a little bit tight.
Yeah.
So I'm going to add just a splash of my pasta cooking liquid. Just to loosen it all up.
Yeah.
And see, that heavy cream
That's
just
it.
creamed it up.
Nice.
It just creamed it up
That's a
really
beautiful
nicely.
pasta.
Now, we're gonna add some chicken to ours. You can add, at this point, you can add chicken. You can add any kind of meat that you like in it. Or you can add no meat at all. you can add some peas or some kind of veggies. It will go great in this as well. But we like to add a little bit of chicken. That way we have some protein.
And that's just the whole chicken that you cooked for
Yes.
some broth, and then
You can do that. You can use a rotisserie chicken. You can use any type of cooked chicken that you want in this. And see that little bit of cream just made a huge difference in the look. It just creamied it up so much. If creamied is a word. Is creamied a word?
Can be. It is today.
It is today. I made it up. Therefore, it's a word. It's one of those words that is an Angela word, like oochin. I think I'm going to add just a little bit more pasta water, because when I added that chicken, it tightened it up just a little bit. Look at that.
It's really nice.
That looks amazing. Now we got to taste it for seasoning. That is, I think it's pretty much spot on. It may need, for the pepper man, I will add a little bit more pepper. For the pepper man. But I think as far as salt, we're good. Now I always like to throw mine over to the side. Messy cook's a good cook. Now, I always like to put just a little extra Parmesan cheese on top of mine, just to add that little extra salty pop. And there you go. Now Jason will taste it for you.
Okay, there it is. Look at that. It's a beautiful pesto. It's not really showing it very well, but it's beautiful. Nice. And as always, it's delicious. There you go. Alright, there it is. So, how to cut your basil to encourage more growth and to keep it from bolting and going to seed, and then how to use it when you bring it in, like a beautiful pesto. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. My name is Jason. That's Angela Kay with Art of Creation Homestead. We love y'all. God bless you and goodbye.